a way to disconnect to connect, kind of elaborating on that, is every mata mataka normally has a atua dedicated to it. So, o tāne mahuta. If you're feeling a bit low, go into the forest. Tangaroa, god of the sea, go by somewhere by the moana. Whiro, atua of, he keeps things balanced. Ahakwa, tāna, I don't want to say anything negative, but, you know, he can disrupt something, so you calm down a bit. And then every atua o rongonui, rongomatane, that's anything to do with mara. So if you feel like you need a bit of help, just wānanga o wete wete the name, and it will tell.
Yeah.
Kia ora anō e te whānau no mai haere mai ki tā mātou podcast ko HOIHOI, ko Janaye Henry toku ingoa no ngā taikahu ki whangaroa. Ahau.
Kia ora, ko Josh Aoraki toku ingoa no Kaitahu ahau, and we have our manuhiri with us again. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Kia ora, ko Hana-Rawhiti Maipi tōku ingoa. Kai konei ahau anō ki te kōrero tahi ki wainganui a mātou. No Ngāti Mahuta, Ngāti Wairere, Ngāti Whawhākia ahau me ngāwhi.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Oi, I can tell that you're kaitahu because you're wearing shorts and it's winter. You're always in shorts.
Yeah, it's a bit of a giveaway.
That does give you away.
What are we having a kōrero about today?
We are talking about the future.
So, I mean, what does that mean to you guys in terms of Matariki when you look forward to the year ahead?
To me and to my limited understanding where I'm at right now, it's not New Year's resolution vibes. Like I've never heard anyone be like, for Matariki, I want to drink more water. Like I've never heard that. It's more grounded in things that better not just you but like people around you. It is, like you said on the second episode, Hana, it's not about like business moves, it's about movements. And like,
love that.
well, it's your kōrero, so I love that from you.
I mean, I don't know my kōrero, but I love how you explained it.
Yeah, so for me, when I think about Matariki and looking towards the future, it is bigger. It is things bigger than
bigger
myself.
picture stuff. So
Yeah. But even understanding, for me, Matariki, I always come back to wanting to learn more te reo Māori and to continue that
Always,
haringa for life. But it's not just because I want to know more te reo Māori. It's because me knowing more te reo Māori starts a ripple effect in my whānau.
Exactly, as it does with
effects, big
everyone.
picture, I love it.
Yeah. So for me, that's what it means. What about you, Hana?
I think for me, Matariki and the future, firstly getting the whole concept, like what you said, it's not the New Year's resolution type vibes, it's not the fireworks, it's not the party.
It can be though.
It's the celebration and the acknowledgement of our past and future. I mean, past, present, future. And acknowledging those different maru apo or wawata that you said, like the ripple effects, the big picture stuffs. So anything that can help our kaumata, anything that benefits my pakeke or my parents, and anything that can nourish and nurture our mokopuna and taina. So I think as long as, instead of the whole that girl vibe on TikTok kind of goals, it's more so how can it benefit the bigger picture.
And I think it's exactly that. It's like the bigger picture. It's not the, the New Year's resolution goals. And, I don't think, we're not going to sit and go, what's my goal for Matariki this year? But it's just really to better ourselves and those people around us, and, looking forward with everyone around us, and, sharing that mātauranga, all the stuff we've talked about. It all comes together, but I don't think it's like a goal per se. Goal doesn't feel like the right kupu to me. Do you know what I mean?
It's anything that you feel like resonates with you and Hiwai Te Rangi, your own individual ones, and then your one as a whānau, as a hapu, as a reanga, as a iwi, and just ripples on like that, I think, maybe. I think like the pinpoint and markers for me is just listening and observing my taina. So if I hear like, oh, I know this certain maramataka on this phase, and they're like, oh, it's all rongonui today, or it's tamatea, and they are able to read the environment. The more they speak like that, the more we know that our jobs are being done.
Yeah.
So as long as that's how I go off the pinpoint tick boxes, is observing them.
Can we get into
Yeah,
that a little bit?
I want to ask you about maramataka.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know a little bit about maramataka. What about you?
I follow some Instagrams.
We're on a good start.
Yeah. And then I've talked to you about this actually before. I will feel a certain way all day, and then I'll be like, so random, like I just randomly feel really sluggish today or really down, and then I'll check at the end of the day. And then I'll be like, oh, okay. Yeah. But I'm like, could I be doing this better? Could I be preparing for the feeling instead of doing the day and then proving myself right and feeling really, really just in that?
Yeah.
So what's maramataka, like just a general overview for everyone?
Maramataka to me is understanding the rhythms, the patterns within our taiao, and that affects us as tangata. So understanding your taiao, you can understand yourself. And te maramataka is mata meaning face, is the many faces of the moon or the marama. So understanding the lows, the highs, the medium energies that we may feel with the marama. Literally, the maramataka, the only science, I don't know as much science as you, brother, but the only science I could give you with the maramataka is that the marama has a gravitational pull over everything that has to do with water.
Yeah.
That's how you get some high tides and low tides. When we look at our tinana, we have water and wai within our tinana, and that's how we can have high and low tides within ourselves. So the maruapo and wawata of mahina for Maireanga is to help rangatahi understand these highs and lows within themselves and the taiao. And finding the different notifications you have in the sky.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah, ding, ding, ding.
Notifications in the sky.
That's many tohu. Instead of looking down, you can look up.
See, I find I say that all the time because I think for me, maramataka it's kind of our connection to te taiao, and for me, a lot of people think the environment's just on the earth, but our environment extends up to te rangipo, ne. Yeah. So for me, maramataka is that that kind of hononga, that connection that we have to te taiao. Yeah. And it's like you were saying, sometimes you finish the day and you're like, oh, why was today so horrible? And then you check the maramataka and you're like, oh, that was why. These are things that are actually informing our everyday lives. Whether we think they are or not, maramataka is that connection that we have. And te marama is always there too. It's something we can mostly see when it's not cloudy.
The whānau marama is the only thing that will live on forever and has no evil in it. So it's forever shining. It never dims. It will never be taken over by... I still love the atua whiro, but it will never be taken over by...
He tries though.
So, it has a lot of light and purpose that we can educate our tamariki on in terms of resource arongoa to help mental health, etc., etc. Yeah.
Does the maramataka, and I'm asking this as a genuine question, I have no agenda, does the maramataka affect everyone or only Māori?
Well, the moon, everyone sees the moon. Yeah. So it's, I mean, sometimes I get that crazy, this girl's talking about the moon. She's out of it. But, I mean, you can believe it. You don't have to if you don't want to. But I get sometimes there's some like, oh, no wonder why I was feeling like that. But my goal, not my goal, but I think our goal for our tamaiti or tamariki is they can go outside in the morning and they can look at the moon, they can look at the stars, they can rongo the taiao, the different sounds in the birds and think, okay, this is my day, this is how the weather's going to be, this is my ahua of the day, this is what I should be careful of, this is what I should watch out for, and they don't need a daily quote from there.
Yeah, those
I've
apps.
got it and I'm looking at it in the sky.
Yeah, the notifications up in the sky. Yeah. I think it's exactly that. Like the question of, does maramataka affect everyone? I think for me what it comes down to is those tohu are always there, the moon's always there, the sky's always there, but I think sometimes our connection to te taiao has been lost because, as urban Māori, we're living in these massive cities where the forests have been stripped out, the sky is light polluted, so the stars aren't there, we can barely see the moon sometimes, and the forests are really far away, so that doesn't mean that we don't have those connections. It just means we need to reconnect them, you know? So it's like when you go out into the ngahere, you instantly feel the hononga ki te taiao, ne?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's harder when you're in the city. So I think you've got to be in tune with it. Yeah.
If you're in the city, my biggest advice would be to just disconnect to connect. So
exactly.
disconnect from your average day-to-day things and open your eyes wide enough to looking at, the tree looks different today.
Yeah.
It's you observe the growth of different things when you watch Mata Mataka because it goes through a 30-day cycle or 30 to 31-day cycle. So it goes through these different moves, different patterns, different flows, just like ourselves. Yeah.
And just like the tides,
Yeah.
always changing, but it's always moving up and down. It's always going to be there.
Yeah.
That's, I think, going to be my Matariki, not go, but ripple, I think.
Yeah, ripple.
It's going to be
Let's do
The
that.
tides?
no, clocking more into the Mata Mataka.
Yeah.
There's been a few times recently where I've had I've been in a bad mood all day, and then I check it and I go, I've just got to take ownership for that.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
high energy day. I've just made choices.
Yeah.
Just made some choices today. But I think instead of doing it, I always do it retrospectively.
Yeah.
I never look to it to guide. I have the feeling and then check it.
Yeah,
I
because
could-
everyone's Mata Mataka is different.
Exactly.
I got some mates that are pumping in fetal, and I'm like, how?
Yeah.
So it's what you feel up here and then in here, and you try and realign it how you think you feel.
Yeah.
Just those gut puku feelings, I guess. Yeah.
And also,
then-
it comes down to the wahi, basically, where you are.
Yeah.
So, you go up and down the motu, there's different maramataka for different
Yeah.
iwi and different hapu. Like,
Sure.
down at my marae and Bluff, which is pretty far south, our maramataka is way different to here in terms of marakai and planting and fishing.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of what we do.
Yeah.
But it's, if I brought that maramataka here to Tamaki, wouldn't work,
Yeah.
So it's completely up to where you are, too.
Yeah.
I think that's us.
Cool.
We've done
I've learned so much.
3 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What have you learned?
Reflection, celebration, looking forward. Maramataka, of course, yeah. Akumihi kia koroa mo tō kōrero i tēnei rā. It's been awesome, yeah.
Ai, rawe te noho tahi ki wainganui a korua, te kōrero tahi, te wānanga tahi, te whakawhiti whakaaro, I hane ani a taku noho, ngā mihi kia korua.
Kia ora.
Thank you so much for having me, for embracing where I'm at in my journey, for answering all my many pātai.
We're all on the journey, eh?
Yeah, Josh is my flatmate, so he's going to have to keep putting up with him for another year. But it's really cool to be able to be in a space and be really open about being at the start of a journey and seeing that documented, because I feel like often we see when people are being platformed, they are expert level, and it feels sometimes unobtainable. It feels so far away.
Yeah.
And that's
So-
part of looking forward to, with what
Yeah.
we've been talking about, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
One Matariki. One Matariki. But not yet. And that's us. Ka kite.
Thanks for watching. Kia ora.